This is the 2600 farm tractor, and what we're going to work on today is the Wen cylinders for this lift. This one has blown out, and of course you could rebuild this, but there is rust on these cylinders, and I'm sure I could rebuild it. They're about $5 a piece, but I found the whole unit for $75 a piece, brand new. These are about 10 years old. Only got a few years warranty. So I could rebuild them, but for 75 bucks, it would be a whole lot less work just to pull these pins out, drop a new one in. Basically, you're gonna take off these swivels, loosen these swivels, pull this out. You got one on the top, one on the bottom. Pull these pins out, drop the new one in. Now these are some old Dalton cylinders. They've been real good. Got two of them. Got a quick connect right there for these, so it shouldn't be that hard. Not a quick connect, but just a hose clamp to hold it. So let me get the Wen. Basically, this is a video for, it's gonna have Dalton and Wen put in here. I never heard of Wen. Back when I bought these, I've never heard of Dalton cylinders. But, you know, they're so old, I couldn't find the part numbers. They got goofy part numbers that don't make any sense. These, stretching from up here to down here, is about 36.5 inches. The new ones were 34.5. If you look up these Dalton cylinders, that's the full length. But if you look up the full length, the part number is a 2024, which makes no sense. There must be like a 24-inch shaft in here that goes out 24 inches. So I don't know if the 2 is a 2-inch by 24, but that don't make any sense. A 2-inch cylinder going up inside and a 24-inch travel. So let me let's go look at the Wen. It's definitely kind of different. Pins are a little bigger. That's kind of weird. The diameter of the cylinder is a lot less smaller for 2-inch. Shape's a little different. It's like this part with the thing is a little longer. So we're gonna swap them out. The fittings were the same. I think they were 3/8 and 3/8. These don't operate fast. They're kind of slow, but I don't know. It used to move a lot faster, but so I don't think my tractor setting's right. But I can get the hammer, try to pop them out. That thing's swiveled a little bit. Hopefully that'll swivel around just like I want it. So let me get on that, undo those. It shouldn't make a mess because right now the cylinder, well, it's going to make a mess, but the cylinder thing is up in here, so there's not that much liquid. So basically it fills this with liquid to push it out. So that's the Wen cylinder next to the Dalton cylinder. So if you're going to go buy a Wen cylinder, you kind of see what you're getting and kind of know that the size 224 doesn't match the retracted length of 34.5, which was on these. So when I went to the website, this was 36.5 and this was 34.5. So we'll see if they're different. Maybe they're more the same, just two different people measuring. Tools out here. I found a number 18 that will fit on there, and I'm using that to lock up against there. And I just took this crescent wrench and was able to lift it. I was worried about that being all rusty, so I'm definitely going to put some grease on these threads so they'll try not to rust the next 10 years. Because right now I'm just putting on what I got, and also this has to come off. After that comes off, you will have to twist all these off. I don't even have any Teflon thread, I don't think. I'm gonna look for some. I'll keep that from rusting a little bit. I should have put a little piece of Teflon on there. I would have kept that from rusting together. But some of these came from Tractor Farm and Supply, and some of them came from Northern Tool. So these are better. Don't ask me which one's which. These are definitely not very good metal, rusted out here, whereas the other brand had a lot less corrosion on it, more galvanized in it. All right, when I took off the top, pretty much nothing came out of the top ones. The bottom one, I got a little metal bucket down there. almost a half a gallon, so I'm letting that drain a little bit. This one's, because I have it loose, it's already starting to leak there. These are starting to drip a little bit. Already, pins are loose. Well, I say that. This one's loose. I only took off one side and it's coming out. This one here was actually, I think, spinning. So let's kind of take a look, see if that's what I was worried about, getting those. I don't think they're under tension. I think they're just under rust. And when you damage the head of it like I did, that's gonna make it hard to go through. So basically, we're gonna have to get a punch and finish that coming through. So I think that'll come out now. I don't think it's really under tension or anything. Don't want to stick your finger in there. Don't get crazy. Try to stick a finger in there, even if you got that loose and the pin not in there, because that'll chop a finger. So basically get something metal, like a bolt, large bolt or something, and drive that through there. So let me go find a large bolt. You could get one out, then you could maybe use the others, but then it would be tight in there. Bolt would be better. This is a classic being out here with no tools. I got a little hammer, screwdriver, some metric, and a little tiny thing. So struggling with getting this off, just a pain. Gone to get this one off and can't get it off. So now I'm going to drive this pin so I can lay that thing forward, get that off. It's not a real hard job, but just having some better tools would be a lot helpful. And what's really weird with these in a relaxed position, there was always some exposed cylinder there, and that's what would rust. So it's kind of weird that this is a little short. I don't think I'm going to be able to pick that up. Maybe I could get a shovel and try to pick that up, but how am I going to pick that up? I could get a little come along, hook it to that pipe or something, and try to retract it back. There's enough space in there to retract that one up in there, but it will squirt oil out of there. So let me see if I could put it up, maybe sit it on that cylinder enough to pick that up, that it lacks half an inch. All right, I used the shovel to pick that up, slid the cylinder up in there, just kept sliding it up in there until I could set the top pin. Now, I'm pretty sure I have no Allen wrenches here. I'm gonna just keep going forward. I'm gonna do the same thing to this one. If I can't find any Allen wrenches, I'll just have to come back tomorrow and finish that, which is aggravating, but that's all part of working out in the field. Just always forget that one tool, one part, one piece every time. Okay, well, this pin is stuck. What happened was, this used to only have one thin beam and I didn't like it. So I put these plates on here and put the pins in there and then welded the plates on. So something is out of alignment. I noticed that, you know, because there's like 3 or 4 pieces of metal here, that this is where it is, because this wasn't straight when I put these on here about 10 years ago. So I cut these off and moved them so these would be more vertical. They were way over here. They were just working weird. So problem was, I stuck that pin in there and then welded them. Well, now these little heads are catching somewhere in there where it's not perfectly straight. I got this one loose, but even though it's got play, I seem to can't work it through there. I'm gonna have to put some heavy duty busting on there to drive that through there and just bust the, hopefully it would bust the tip off, but that's hardened steel or something, I'd imagine. It's not going to bust very easy. So instead of using that little flimsy bolt, I got the party started with this. I think I got it driven through there enough to get that out with the bolt now. So I can't film it and do it. I need to get a tripod maybe, but then it would still even be showing that, but I'm going to drive that out the rest of the way. All right, success. You can kind of see here, none of this old stuff is square. Somebody welded this old box. Who knows how old it is. The funny thing is, people are like, that's, I told them it was a Ford bucket, and they're like, that ain't no Ford bucket. Well, I can only go by that. That's what I see. And there's even an old serial number on there. Bunch of stuff. 1994. Ain't no way that was made in 1994, but it says component. This thing looks older than the hills, like it was made in the 60s. That's kind of funny. I had a silica pack and I picked this up. I could hear all this crust in there. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I realized, why would they even put that in there? It's just destroyed in this stupid box. Like some poor packing. I don't know where this came from, when it's, I just can't imagine that coming from the factory. I would imagine somebody buys a pallet of this stuff. Let's see if there's a name on here. Great Lake Technology. So I know Great Lake Technology is not making these. They just buying them and selling them to me on the cheap. Okay, I am noticing an interesting turn of events, that these little shackle bolts need to probably go towards the outside like this one. And I just got lucky putting that on there. Well, unfortunately, both of these come the same way, so I'm gonna have to stick that in that pin and then pivot it and then try to drop it in there. So I don't know if I'm going to try to drop it in there, take it loose, and then try to maybe pull that push rod out a tiny bit, because I'm not going to be able to retract it anymore that it can retract, but I will be able to pull it out. So let me hook it here, see if it lines up. Maybe we'll be lucky because they're the same and it'll be the same distance, but I doubt it. This box is all twisted up, so I doubt if they're going to be the same. All right, I found some more interesting thing. This has to go to this inner side to protect it, just like the other one. But luckily, they put 2 points, so when I pivoted this thing, you could go to the top or to the side. So luckily, I'm going to the side right there to access that one. So that one's just a plug. So hopefully that's sealed good. The other thing I noticed is if I step on this, I think I can retract that enough to get that pin in there. So let me put the camera down and I'll try to put that pin in there. See if we can get this going. Okay, I need the Allen wrenches. Take those out. I don't have any here. Now it's a 30-minute drive and 30-minute drive back. But I'm gonna go do that. It's lunchtime. I turned 9 o'clock into 11 o'clock. It's taking me 2 hours to mess with this, things with the horse, messing with the water. I want to finish this project. I don't want it to be like everything else out here, freaking one more unfinished project. So I'm gonna take the hours, lunchtime, and get something to eat on the road. Kind of go get these Allen wrenches. I don't know if these are metric or standard, so I'm gonna get 2 sets of Allen wrenches, figure out which ones they are, come back, get these on here. I'm gonna get a better, bigger crescent wrenches, so I can turn those on and have 2 crescent wrenches to hold a backup, and some Teflon tape. So I want to get this project finished, move on with it. I wanted to be out here mowing. I was kind of thinking this was going to take like an hour, but it's already taken 2, and now I'm missing some stuff. So I'm going to write that down on paper, because believe me, 30 minutes from now when I'm up the road, I got so many things on my mind I won't even remember what I need. I actually took this pin back out because I went to take this out and it was barely in there hand tight. So I tightened up that one, loosened that one, loosened that one. I took this off and actually tightened that one back up, because with this all connected and all the hoses, it would have been harder to pull that away to snug that one up if I had to get to it. So I thought I better do it now. So real easy, I just put a little weight on this thing to pull that down. It's enough to pull that and get it out. So now that's already loose, so I'll just take that out and put the things in. I'll tighten that one up. Actually, yes, I already Teflon that one, but it has to be tightened with the wrench. I'll get that done. I'm going to videotape this just so if people aren't used to working with tools, what you can kind of do. Have this crescent wrench and you move it around, and then you get over here where you can't grab it anymore. So basically, you pushed it as far as you can, Now there's no way to grab it. But if you put this on here sideways, I'm not going to be able to hold the camera and hold it with this other wrench sideways. Now you can turn this with 2 hands. Make sure that's nice and snug. You can use 2 hands and have enough to be able to spin that where you can re-grab it again. So use 2 hands and you'll be able to pull that around, especially if you have a good crescent wrench with a big old bite on there. You'd be able to turn that enough to get to it, and it's tight. So I need to make one more turn for sure because that's tight, but I like it a little tighter. Don't have to go crazy. I don't need to go going to the moon, but got to be snug. Okay, basically I have this hooked backwards, but you know, you can hook them up however you want when it's your tractor. Up is up, down is down. I'd get on here with it reversed the other way, and I would, because I'm not like a professional operator, so like a joystick, like an airplane, I didn't like it like that. Up is up, down is down. Now on this one, that's out. So it's kind of confusing because up is really down. And then back out. And it seems to have a full range of motion. It would be nice to have something there for it to hit on, and notice it's kind of slow. I think it's either the size of the hoses or there's a filter in there and a pump, and it's just getting real old. It needs to be changed. So I think that needs to be changed. And there's a fast slow switch that doesn't work. So I don't know if it's stuck in the slow position. It looks like it's coming right out of that pipe where it's working. So I've never been able to figure out what that is, and I need to work on it. But at least these won't leak all over the place now while I'm trying to mow grass. I can lift stuff, push logs and stuff around, dead trees. So there you go, I'm happy with that. It looks kind of wonky there at the end, like it doesn't have anything to stabilize it. It seems kind of weird. Just the flexiness of it, where it's going to stop. There's what used to be a pin to stop it right there, but I've never had any of that stuff working. So basically when it hits against these things is where it's going to stop. So that's all I got for that. But actually it's all the way in right now, so that's where it's going to stop. Okay, well, that's the Wen hydraulic cylinders. I'm totally happy with that. Does what the old ones do. There's the old ones. Didn't want to rebuild them or mess with it, so there we go. To rebuild these would have been, you know, not a lot of money. Uh-oh, I got a leak coming out there. Hope that's just stuff dripping off. Looks like water coming from somewhere. But anyhow, rebuilding these wouldn't have been that hard. I've done them before. But if these would have twisted off, they're getting kind of rusty. So I was looking at that. Having rust on it. The seal being bad. So just, you know, it probably would have worked and been just fine. These have a 2-year warranty. So, you know, they're probably going to be good for the next 10 years, just like these. So there you go, Dalton and Wen Cylinders. Good to go. One last clip. I just got a hose clamp holding that because there's really nothing to secure that good, so that kind of holds that there. I used electrical conduit holders to put those on there. This stuff I did 10 years ago, the retrofit new hoses. 10 years ago, every single hose was just blowing one by one, so I put all new hoses on it 10 years ago. So that's basically what I got. And there you go, Ford tractor 2600 with new hydraulic Wen cylinders that don't leak.